If I had to start my personal brand completely from scratch in 2025, no followers, no product, no one knows who I am, here's exactly what I do to grow fast and actually make money as fast as I could online. And let me be clear, I'm not here to tell you to niche down or define your ideal customer. Believe me, I know you've heard that 100 times by now. And in 2025, that kind of advice is just step one. Today, we're gonna go way deeper. So what I'm gonna share with you is the 2025 playbook. This is the one that people aren't talking about because it's so fresh, it's so new. A lot of creators and influencers are using it, but it's the fastest way to grow a personal brand. And if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna show you the exact system I used to keep making sales while I was totally offline for 4 months on my mat leave. But first, let's kick off with the biggest shift I would make from day uno. The first step to building a modern day personal brand is to build your brand for search, not just for the scroll. Here's what I mean, because this is the mindset shift that changed everything for me. Most people start their brand and they make content for the scroll, for the algorithm. That means that most of their content lives for 24 to maybe 48 hours. It's not a bad strategy, but it does mean you're on the content hamster wheel all day, every day, which is exhausting. But if you want consistent growth in sales, you need to be building your brand for search first. The good news is most algorithms do have search capabilities built into them, but this is why you want to do it. Because when someone searches how to grow on Instagram without showing my face and your YouTube video pops up, that's when you get found, not just seen for a second in the algorithm. I personally use Instagram to connect with my audience, but I use YouTube to attract them. People binge my YouTube videos, get a ton of value, and then they head to Instagram to chat with me, DM me, or even buy from me. Because YouTube is an amazing search-based platform where people can discover me, and Instagram is an amazing relationship building tool where they can get to really know me, start to trust me, and then ultimately want to buy from me. This is how you build a machine that doesn't rely on you dancing for views every single day. So here's what I would do if I was starting right now today. First, I'd figure out exactly what my ideal client is typing into Google when they're frustrated, stuck, or overwhelmed. And I'd make my content the answer to those questions. It's not content that's like, here's my story. Hi, I'm new to the internet. It's more like leading with their pain point. Terrified of reels? Here's how I started posting without dancing or pointing. And by the way, I've used that headline a lot. It works. Now, if you want the full strategy of how I use Instagram as a sales system so that it's actually an asset in my business and not a time suck, I have an entire free class on this very topic. Go ahead and I'm going to teach you the secrets of Instagram marketing that are working today, even if you're building your brand from scratch. And stick around because in step 3 of this video, I'm going to show you how to build a personal brand, even if you're super shy on camera, because I used to be like that, but I've got a few tricks up my sleeve that have helped me overcome that fear. The second step of building a brand is to brand yourself by your archetype, not just your aesthetic. Now let me bust a myth really quickly. Your logo, your fonts, they're nice to have, but they're not what make your brand memorable. People don't remember your hex code. They won't even know it, but they are going to remember how you made them feel. So in this year, that's what you want to focus on. Don't invest $20,000 on a fancy brand designer to come up with the coolest color combination. It doesn't matter. Instead of asking yourself, what color should I use? Ask yourself, what energy do I want people to feel from me? Are you the blunt truth teller? Is that the kind of person you are with your friends? Or are you like the warm big sister who gives really good advice? Or are you the friend who tells it like it is? Or are you the high vibe coach who has a gentle, soft tone? That is your archetype. It could be based on who you are right now as a person, or you can kind of go into character. It's up to you, but you need to lead with your archetype so that people can connect with you on a deeper level. There's a creator named Tori Dunlap who does this really, really well. Now, I'm not saying you need to talk like her or be as spicy as she is, but this is just an example of being an archetype. Maybe you know her handle. She goes by her first 100K. And yes, she teaches financial and money tips, but she wraps her entire brand around her beliefs that go beyond money. She talks about fighting the patriarchy. She calls out Dave Ramsey. Yes, she's not afraid to talk about a competitor in her space and call out why following him is BS. Those are her words, not mine. She talks openly about money, privilege, and systemic issues, and she posts body positive pictures in between her financial advice because it connects back to her beliefs around the patriarchy system. And because of that, people remember her. She's got a lot of hot takes to share, share. And they follow her for that financial advice, but they also follow her because of what she stands for. So if I were starting today from scratch, I would pick one key brand rule that summarizes who I am and my beliefs. For me, I would probably choose something like the teacher, where I give real insights and no fluff strategy because that's just kind of who I am. And then if I wanted to experiment with other topics, I could add in 2 or 3 other character roles to rotate through in my content. So for example, I could also show up in my content like the friend, where I share the behind the scenes of motherhood and business. In another type of post, I could be the disruptor, where I call out bad marketing advice that's floating around that's keeping my people stuck. And another character type I could be is the tester, where I'm always trying out new tools or AI prompts and showing my people what works. You don't have to have all those character archetypes, but start with one and layer in more when you need to. Now, quick shout out to my introvert friends who are watching. Hello, that's me. If you've ever felt like you're just too chill to have a bold brand, this is your permission to lead with your beliefs, not your volume. You don't have to be controversial, but if you do marry your beliefs to your brand, you are going to attract people who like you, get to know you, and then eventually trust you. Now, in the next step, I'm going to show you how to create a persona that made showing up online so much easier, especially when I didn't feel like it, because I've been in this space for over 10 years now, and sometimes it's exhausting. But here's step number 3. I want you to show up as a slightly cooler version of yourself. Now, when I first started in this online space, I kind of hated being on camera. I wanted to grow my business, but I actually didn't want to be the face of my then agency. I wanted a faceless brand. And I thought to be successful, I had to be a peppy extrovert to build a brand, and I was just not like that. So I kind of thought I was screwed a little bit. But here's the thing that helped me create a little bit of distance between me, the person, and the brand. So here's the secret. Elise Darma isn't my actual legal name. Elise is my middle name, and Darma is a shortened version of my last name. I created the character of Elise Darma to give me a mental boundary that said, okay, I'm at my desk, I'm Elise Darma, I'm stepping into this version of myself. And then with that character, I gave myself some recognizable style pieces that allowed me to go into character. So back in my early days, I did a photo shoot where I dressed up as 4 different characters. One was literally a pirate. I don't know why, but I went with my old pirate costume. And I also dressed up as a girl boss, I dressed up as a tourist, and I dressed up as a travelpreneur because that matched my digital nomad brand that I had at the time. So if I were starting again today, I would again choose visual cues that I could use to show up with consistently. So for example, with time, eventually I bought this massive hat from Mexico and I used it in my content a few times, but really it became a prop that I should have used over and over and over again because people literally started sending me hat content because other big hats reminded them of me. Ding, ding, ding. That's a good prop to continue to use. Eventually, I used other elements like my B-roll travel and my laptop work, but I really like when you hone in on those physical things that you can wear or put on. It helps you get into character. Think about Casey Neistat, who has the Ray-Ban sunglasses in most of his YouTube videos. Or for us Miss Rachel fans, she has her pink headband. Or Alex Hermosi has his nose strip. It could be something out there like that, or it could just be red lipstick every time you're on camera, or it could be a signature green coffee cup. Whatever fits you, your vibe that you want to use all the time, get some elements that are those visual cues. With time, people are really going to associate those elements with you. They're going to start sending you those DMs of big hat content being like, OMG, you need this hat. And that is when you know you're on the right track to building a memorable personal brand. My hot take, branding has less to do with what you post and more to do with how repeatable and recognizable you are. More to come on that. Because now we're moving into step 4, which is to create a repeatable series. Because let's talk about what actually keeps your audience coming back to your channels for more. It's not because you're posting every day. It's not because you're dancing on camera. You can if you want to, but most of my students don't. It's actually structure. There's this quote from Adam Mosseri, who is the CEO of Instagram. And he said this, more important than frequency is having patterns or series. What? So Instagram cares more about having predictable content than how often you post? Well, that should get the bell ringing in your head. It's really not about how often you post, it's about being predictable. I mean, look at the big creators who have mastered this. We have Nara Smith on TikTok, who casually makes meals in her perfect kitchen, and she's been parodied 1,000 times over. We have the Outdoor Boys on YouTube. They're always going on adventures as a family in nature. We have Mina Azali, who grew on TikTok simply by walking. The series does not have to be complicated. It can be that simple. And the interesting thing is when you lock in on a series, that format becomes the hook. That becomes people's comfort watch because they know what to expect, just like when they're binging Friends. Now, if you're thinking, Elise, I don't have a thing like that, I bet you do. I bet you're already doing something consistently that you can just tie back to your brand. For example, you can film yourself shopping for healthy food, or you can show how to pose for photos in a regular series. Or if you're like me in the marketing space, you could share a marketing tip while you make lunch every day. You probably eat every day, right? So tie that back to your brand and your business. With a series, you just need to pick 1 to 2 ideas that you can rinse and repeat. Now, the key here is to keep it low production value and low effort. Do not sign yourself up for an idea that's going to stress you out and take hours every single day to film and edit. The idea here is it's something you're already doing. And when your audience starts to recognize the pattern of you in their feed, they start to binge. And when they binge watch, they trust you even faster. And that trust eventually turns into sales. Step number 5 of building that beautiful personal brand is to give away 99% of your content and keep 1% for your emails, 1% for your paid offers. This is the step that most people skip, so please don't skip it. Social media is where people find you, right? But email, that's where people buy from you. Now, I'm not saying you can't get sales from social media, but I do know that when I email my email list, anytime with an offer, I always get sales. When I post about an offer on Instagram, I sometimes get sales, but I definitely always get sales from my email list. So if I were starting today, I would start my email list right away. Even if you have to invest in software, it's your best investment. Pay the $30 a month and get your email marketing software because you need to start converting your followers into email subscribers immediately. First order of business. The amazing thing is we have so many more tools today than when I was getting started like 10 years ago. So if I were starting today, I would use AI to help me create new freebies regularly. I would take my transcripts of my YouTube videos and turn them into resources, checklists, swipe files, mini planners, whatever. I would take all my content and create freebies. And then I would use Instagram to promote my freebies. So I would make a reel or a carousel post, but I would only give away the freebie to someone after they signed up with their email. And I would do all this with a DM automation. So I'm sure you've seen this before, but if someone comments a keyword like the word planner on my reel, then they would instantly get a DM from me. The bot would ask them to input their email directly into our DM chat, would ask for their name, and boom, they would then get the freebie in their inbox. You also have the option of sharing the freebie in the DMs as well, but for me, I like to get real email addresses, so I deliver it to their actual inbox. This is amazing because there's no links, people don't have to leave the Instagram app, there's no friction, there's no tech overwhelm. You literally just develop this automation. I use a tool called ManyChat and build out freebies, get people commenting, get those DMs firing, and start converting your followers into email subscribers today. This is how I started building my list back in the day before we had DM automation, but it's still how I'm building my list today. I'm showing up on social, I'm giving people a reason to engage with my content, and I'm giving them more free resources when they're actually on my email list. Now let's talk about when someone joins your list, because the last thing someone wants is another newsletter from a marketing corporation, right? Instead, you're a personal brand. Email your list like you would email a friend. Keep it casual, helpful, a little bit cheeky even. I've noticed that there is a surge of creators branding their emails to be more like diaries, business diaries, so that they're more personal, they're less pushy, and they sound less like a marketing newsletter because that probably leads to unsubscribes very fast. I'm thinking about Amy Porterfield, Christina Galbato, Lazy Millionaire. They've all redeveloped their newsletters to be more like emails from a friend. And that's how you brand becomes unforgettable. And that's how people are going to stay on your list for the long term, because when it feels like they're getting an email from a friend and not just a marketing corp, they're going to want to stick around to see what you have to say. Now, if you want to see this strategy fleshed out even more, all about how you use Instagram to grow your business, even if it's brand new, I have an entire workshop that's free. It's jam-packed. You can grab it right here. I'll leave the link below the video, or you can tap that QR code to sign up right now. All right, so by now you know how I would start a personal brand from scratch in 2025. Was any of it surprising? Because a lot of it is what I'm seeing fresh creators and influencers do on TikTok. But what if I was starting an Instagram account from scratch? Like 0 followers, 0 content, a blank profile. What would I post? How would I grow? That's exactly what I'm covering next in this video. Go ahead and watch that now, and I will see you there.